But on a very basic level, stocks and shares are when a company decides it wants to offer a percentage of its company to the public, in most cases to bring cash into their company, which they can therefore invest into new technologies or new initiatives and grow. So they're essentially offering you at a price a percentage of their company. You are owning a percentage of that company. If you own shares in Google, you are owning a part of that company. The only way that can disappear is if they go bankrupt, or if they decide to buy those shares back off you. Now, stocks and shares have been around a very long time, and there's a good reason for it. Some say it even goes back to Roman times. And really, it kind of makes sense because every time someone exchanges something, there's a kind of contract there. Or if you borrow something, an interest is made. And so you can kind of see why such a thing has developed. But a good story is in the 1600s is the Dutch merchant ships. What was happening in Holland at the time was these big ships were going all the way across the world to places like India to bring back goods and bring back spices and all types of trinkets and fun things that people would buy when they came back to Holland. And you can imagine these trips may have taken months, and they would have had these boats with huge crews, and they'd be battling big stormy seas. Now, a lot of these boats would need money to get across. They would need food, they'd need to build a boat maybe, and they'd need to have crew. So what they did is they offered contracts and coupons to the general public, which allowed them to buy a stake in the trip and the goods that were brought back. And this is really how the modern stock exchange started. These ships, maybe you would have bought a percentage and this boat may have crashed. You would have lost everything. Maybe some people caught a disease on this boat and they only came back with very little. Your percentage would have been diminished quite considerably. Or maybe the boat came back with more than they bargained for. Instead of just getting a return of what you expected, maybe 5-10%, maybe you get 50 or 100% back. So this is really how it all began. And I really like the story because I think it really shows that stock exchange is not something that was around all the time. It's something that is actually in recent history, and it's something that we should all think about, because if a stock exchange is quite young, it means it's still evolving, changing and adapting. It's not something that's set in stone. It's not a given. And I really think we're in a journey still trying to find the best way to maintain and exchange funds. It's an evolutionary process and something that will continue to change.